Keyshawn mentality was like, fuck me. Like, it was like, he don't give a fuck. Like, like fuck you, nigga, let's fight. Like, like and it kind of like, he couldn't really, he was trying to capitalize. He couldn't really like do too much at that time because I was bigger, older.
So something crazy just went down in the boxing world and nobody saw it coming. Shakur Stevenson apparently got fed up with Keyshawn Davis and decided to handle things the direct way. These two used to be tight as brothers, but now the lightweight champ allegedly rolled up on Keyshawn to settle some serious beef face to face.
Is it trouble in Call of Duty Paradise? Is it trouble? Lord child. Keyshawn Davis.
Top Rank was always going to wedge something between them two, and I seen it once they start feeding them the opponents.
Word from people who were there is that Shakur didn't waste any time with small talk. He supposedly got right up close and personal with Keyshawn, making it clear that running his mouth about Terrence Crawford and Bomac wasn't going to fly. Multiple sources claim Shakur basically told him you can talk all the trash you want about boxing, but don't ever cross the line when it comes to Bud or Bomac, because that's straight up family and nobody disrespects family.
Like, we always knew, like, when we go in gyms, Keyshawn was with me every day. We used to go in gyms and beat everybody up. Like, beat this guy up, beat this, no matter who it was, from like the best guys to, we beat them all up. And we always knew that we was going to be in a situation one day where the world would want to see us fight. Like, we was going to be the best. So
this whole mess apparently blew up during a training session where both guys happened to be working out. Shakur allegedly walked up to Keyshawn and laid it out plain, telling him something like, "You want to talk about the game? That's cool, but keep Bud and Bomac's names out your mouth. They're family and I protect family no matter what." Social media is going absolutely wild over this, with people picking sides on whether Shakur was justified or if Keyshawn's comments were just being misunderstood. But here's the thing. What Keyshawn supposedly said that triggered all this drama is way more intense than anyone first thought. And when you understand the history between these fighters, this whole situation becomes even messier.
Congrats on the world title. We all want to see that Shakur unification. Come on, man. Pave your own path. You already got two blood brothers.
Nah, I'm not fighting Shakur, bro. Y'all already know why I'm not fighting Shakur. I'm not going to keep going down that road. Try to fight Tank.
These two weren't just random fighters who happened to train together. Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis came up side by side under Bomac's guidance in Omaha, working with Terrence Crawford and building what everyone thought was an unbreakable brotherhood. They were known for having each other's backs, constantly hyping each other up in public and grinding together in the gym to push each other to the next level. People say they were practically joined at the hip, sparring together, traveling to fights together, and creating what looked like a bond that would last forever in boxing.
Tone, I know you seen one half of the COD brothers in his feelings on Twitter.
Is it trouble in Call of Duty Paradise? Is it trouble? Lord child. Keyshawn Davis.
Top Rank was always going to wedge something between them two, and I seen it once they start feeding them the opponents.
Someone who used to train with both of them supposedly said these guys were like actual siblings for years. They were always talking about being brothers for life. Seeing them go at each other like this is completely shocking because nobody in the gym expected this kind of beef. That's what makes this alleged blow-up so wild. Because we're not talking about two guys who barely knew each other. These were fighters who genuinely treated each other like blood family.
he was trying to capitalize. He couldn't really like do too much at that time because I was bigger, older. But it still was like, okay, yeah, I know this nigga a dog. Like, I know with the right push, he gonna be where he's supposed to be.
I definitely feel like under Bomac, he been, flourishing and looking a lot better. Niggas want to see that fight. I'm gonna keep asking both of y'all.
A lot of boxing insiders think the problem started when Keyshawn made his move to leave Bomac's camp, which apparently rubbed Shakur the wrong way. The boxing world was already talking about why Keyshawn would walk away from Brian McIntyre's setup, especially when it was working so well for other fighters. Sources say Keyshawn allegedly made some statements in interviews that Shakur took as straight disrespect toward the camp that helped both of them become the fighters they are today.
I think Keyshawn is more Earl Spence than Jermell Charlo. I think push come to shove, he will fight Shakur. He's with Bomac and them. They've already been there with Jamel Herring. They know they got, no disrespect to Jamel, but a more talented fighter this time around. They have that experience of Keyshawn being in the ring with him. And it's obvious, like, it don't matter.
Someone connected to the situation who didn't want their name used allegedly said Keyshawn was running his mouth about needing changes and how the old situation wasn't cutting it for him anymore. Shakur heard that as a personal attack because Bomac is basically like his father figure. These supposed comments had been spreading like wildfire through boxing social media and gym gossip, with different versions of what Keyshawn actually said floating around everywhere. Some people think Keyshawn was just talking about his own career growth, but Shakur apparently heard it as a direct shot at people he loves. Sources claim there was one specific interview where Keyshawn allegedly said something that really pushed Shakur over the edge and led straight to this confrontation. According to people who say they saw the interview, Keyshawn supposedly complained that Terrence Crawford and Bomac weren't giving him the spotlight he deserved as an up-and-coming fighter.
Man, you're in a great division. When you talk about the lightweight division at 135, I mean, you got Shakur, you know, your homie, you got Gervonta, you got Isak Cruz, Devin Haney, and I read where you said, I'm ready for a world title shot now. Do you believe that, though, that Keyshawn Davis is ready to step into the ring with one of those guys and fight for a world title?
Someone close to Shakur's team supposedly said Keyshawn was basically whining that Bud gets all the shine and he felt like he was getting ignored. He was crying about not getting enough attention from Bomac during training camps. These alleged complaints apparently set Shakur off because he's always been ride or die loyal to Crawford and super protective of Bomac's reputation as one of the greatest trainers in the game. Shakur supposedly felt like Keyshawn was being completely ungrateful and disrespectful to the exact people who helped turn him into the skilled fighter he became. But people supporting Keyshawn have been quick to jump to his defense, saying every fighter has the right to make their own career moves without getting attacked for it. One fan supposedly posted Keyshawn can leave Bomac's camp if he wants something different for his career. That's not being disrespectful, that's just handling business. Another person wrote Shakur needs to stay in his own lane just because he wants to stay loyal to Bomac doesn't mean Keyshawn has to be stuck there forever. This is professional boxing, not some kind of cult.
Keyshawn. If Keyshawn is fighting Shakur, does that ever happen? Or are you guys just never gonna fight no matter what?
We never gonna fight.
And why is that? Let me just go there for a second.
Like, we grew up together. We brothers for sure.
People close to Shakur argue it wasn't really about Keyshawn leaving the camp. The real problem was how he allegedly talked about Crawford and Bomac after he made his decision to bounce. Someone who understands Shakur's mindset allegedly explained if Keyshawn had just quietly switched camps without saying anything, nobody would have cared. But he was out there doing interviews talking sideways about Bud and Bomac, and that's what really got Shakur heated. This split among fans shows exactly how complicated this whole mess really is. Both sides have solid points and valid arguments. The alleged confrontation supposedly went down at a gym where both fighters just happened to be training on the same day, creating the perfect setup for some serious drama. Sources who claim they were there say Shakur walked into the place and immediately locked eyes on Keyshawn, who was working out with his new training crew. The whole vibe in the gym supposedly got tense right away, with everyone sensing that these two former friends were about to have some kind of heated exchange.
Now let's talk, man. You know I've been saying this for a while, and I know this question keep on running across Keyshawn desk, but is it time yet?
What, for him and Kerr?
Is it time yet?
I'm gonna say this. You know, I was with you on agreeance, right? But then I forgot. I think
Someone who was supposedly there but didn't want their name mentioned described what happened, saying Shakur came through the door looking upset about something. He didn't even bother warming up or doing his usual routine. He just walked straight tied, where Keyshawn was training. These eyewitness accounts make it sound like Shakur was totally focused on addressing this situation head-on, instead of letting it drag out on social media or just ignoring it completely. Sources claim Shakur got right in Keyshawn's personal space, demanding to know why he was talking about Crawford and Bomac in those interviews. According to people who know about the exchange, Shakur supposedly said something like, "You got issues with Bud, then say it to my face right now. You think Bomac ain't treating you right, then let's discuss it like grown men instead of you talking trash in interviews." This alleged confrontation supposedly caught Keyshawn completely off guard because he wasn't expecting Shakur to come at him so aggressively about those comments.
People don't realize is about Shakur, the mentality that I have, Shakur has it. Mine is just louder. But when you in the ring with Shakur, he's a mean fighter, bro. Like, for real. Like, take it from me. You know what I'm saying?
Someone connected to the situation said Keyshawn tried to explain his side, but Shakur wasn't interested in hearing excuses. He was fired up and ready to handle the situation right there in the middle of the gym. The tension supposedly got so thick that other fighters and trainers had to jump in to keep things from getting physical. But people supporting Keyshawn are telling a completely different story, claiming that Shakur was being way too aggressive and confrontational for no good reason. Someone allegedly connected to Keyshawn's new camp said Keyshawn wasn't disrespecting anyone, he was just being honest about his career choices. Shakur came in there trying to intimidate him because he couldn't handle hearing the truth. These completely different versions of what happened have just thrown more gasoline on the fire, with fans arguing about which story is actually accurate. Some boxing experts think this whole situation is really about jealousy and competition between two elite fighters who are both trying to prove themselves as the future stars of the lightweight division. One well-known boxing commentator supposedly said, "This beef isn't really about Terence Crawford or Bomac at all. This is about Shakur and Keyshawn both knowing they might end up fighting each other someday, and neither one wants to show any weakness." This angle adds a whole new dimension to the drama. Maybe the real issue is that these former training partners are now potential future opponents competing for the same big opportunities and championship fights. A lot of people think Shakur saw Keyshawn's comments as the perfect chance to establish dominance and send a clear message that he won't accept any kind of disrespect. The timing of this alleged gym confrontation is really interesting because both fighters are scheduled to compete on the same fight card January 31st at Madison Square Garden. Shakur Stevenson is taking on Teofimo Lopez in the main event, while Keyshawn Davis is fighting Jamian Ortiz earlier on the card, which means tensions are going to be through the roof backstage.
He did something dirty in the ring, and then Keyshawn responded and did something dirty back, which fighters do. When he did that, his father jumped in the ring. When his father jumped in the ring, Cade jumped in the ring too, and they kind of was getting in the, I don't even know what you even call that.
Sources claim promoters are genuinely worried about potential backstage drama on fight night, especially if both guys win their fights and emotions are running high. Someone supposedly familiar with the event planning said security teams are being told to keep these fighters separated behind the scenes. Nobody wants what happened at the gym to happen again, especially not on live television with millions watching. This extra security concern shows just how serious this beef has gotten and how worried everyone is about things getting even more out of control. The alleged confrontation has also put Terence Crawford in a really awkward spot because both fighters are close to him and people keep asking him to pick a side. Crawford has said publicly that both Shakur and Keyshawn are his brothers, and he doesn't want to get mixed up in their personal drama. But sources close to Terence suggest he's privately frustrated that his name keeps getting dragged into beef between two fighters he genuinely cares about.
How long you been knowing Keyshawn?
I knew Keyshawn since he was 13.
And I seen something on IG, man. I see y'all playing with the fans and stuff, doing the face-off, bro. Just track with me for a second. You the WBC lightweight champ. He getting ready to fight Baranchik for the WBO, right?
Yep.
I know y'all saying y'all ain't gonna ever fight. I can't see it happening now, but like, you mean to tell me?
Someone familiar with Crawford's thinking supposedly shared Bud loves both those guys, but he's annoyed because he never asked to be stuck in the middle of this mess. He wishes they could figure it out without dragging his name through it. Crawford's refusal to pick a side has made everything more complicated, because both Shakur and Keyshawn apparently want his public support in this beef. Meanwhile, Bomac has stayed completely quiet about the whole situation, refusing to make any public comments about Keyshawn leaving his camp or the alleged confrontation with Shakur. This silence from the legendary trainer is pretty telling and has people speculating even more about what really went down behind closed doors. Some think Bomac's silence means he's disappointed with Keyshawn but doesn't want to publicly trash a fighter he helped develop.
Influence on my whole career, and even like still to this day, I still remember certain things that they do in their camp.
Yeah.
I pick up and do in my camp.
How did y'all meet? Describe y'all relationship. Like, what was the first time y'all clicked up?
The first time I remember, I was a little kid. I want to say like 16, 17 years old. It was at ringside, and I seen him, and I knew he was a world champion.
Others believe Bomac just doesn't want to get involved in social media drama and prefers to let his work speak for itself. One boxing analyst supposedly commented Bomac is old school, he's not going to jump on Twitter and air out dirty laundry, but staying quiet tells you everything about how he really feels about this whole mess. This reading of Bomac's silence has connected with a lot of fans who think the trainer's choice not to defend Keyshawn publicly is basically its own kind of statement. The boxing community as a whole has been completely split in how they're reacting to this alleged confrontation between Shakur and Keyshawn. Some fans think Shakur was totally right to stand up for Crawford, and Bomac seeing it as loyalty and respect in a sport that needs more of both.
Years in the planet, bro. It's like, as we came up, bro, when we go in every gym, bro, it's me and Keyshawn whooping ass. We used to go to gyms, just beat niggas up, like, on some regular shit. Any gym, like high level. Nigga, when I went to spar Lomachenko, Keyshawn was down there beating up some other Olympic gold medalists, like.
One supporter supposedly tweeted, Shakur is keeping it real by standing up for his people. Too many fighters nowadays have zero loyalty, much respect to Shakur for having principles. Another fan wrote, this is exactly what boxing needs more of. Fighters who care about more than just money and fame. Shakur proved he's got real values. But critics argue Shakur was being way too aggressive and that Keyshawn should be able to make his own career decisions without getting confronted like that. One skeptical person supposedly commented Shakur needs to act his age. Keyshawn switched camps, so what? That doesn't give Shakur permission to run up on him like some kind of street tough guy.
All right, now what about Shakur?
What about him? Like fighting him?
Yeah.
Nah, I'll never fight Shakur. Nah.
Even though, hold up, y'all in the same rank. I know y'all homies, brothers. Somebody gotta get all the belts. Like, don't.
So what if you got two belts? Shakur got two belts, and he puts a shitload of money for like
y'all gotta tear it up.
I mean, bro, like it gotta be like a shitload of money, bro.
Another critic wrote, this whole thing is ridiculous. These are supposed to be professional adults acting like teenagers over gym gossip. Just settle it in the ring where it belongs. This divide perfectly shows how controversial this situation has become, with reasonable arguments on both sides. As both fighters get ready for their January 31st fights, everyone wants to know if this alleged confrontation is going to mess with their performances. Some experts think the extra motivation from this beef could actually make both fighters perform even better, giving them additional fire and drive. Others worry that the distraction and emotional energy being wasted on this drama could hurt their focus and camp preparation. One boxing trainer who doesn't work with either fighter supposedly said, drama like this is a double-edged sword. Sometimes it motivates you and makes you sharper. Other times, it gets in your head and ruins your training. This uncertainty about how the situation will affect both fighters makes an already exciting fight card even more intriguing. What we know for sure is that this alleged confrontation between Shakur and Keyshawn has created damage that might never get fully repaired. Whether this beef comes from real disrespect or just misunderstandings that got blown way out of proportion is still unclear without hearing directly from both fighters. The real story probably falls somewhere between both versions. Keyshawn likely said things that could sound disrespectful, and Shakur probably overreacted because of his intense loyalty to Crawford and Bomac. Right now, both fighters need to lock in on their upcoming opponents and prove themselves where it actually counts inside the ring. Hopefully, Shakur and Keyshawn can eventually patch things up and get back the brotherhood they used to have, even if they become rivals as professional boxers. The boxing world is definitely watching to see how this story develops.